Greetings and welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to episode 344 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly gaming podcast for Words About Games. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander, joined this week by the dancing one, Daffin Moody. Hi.
Howdly doodly do. It's Friday. You know what that means.
What does that mean?
TV talk. Wait, what?
We are going to be talking about TV today.
Yes, we are.
And if anyone's surprised by that, it's in the title. You shouldn't be.
How is everyone? I hope everyone is well.
Huh?
Yeah. I was meaning everyone in general, including yourself.
I'm included in everyone. That's nice. I'm all right. I'm good. I'm okay. I'm a bit under the weather. Like, you know when you get sick, but you're not like sick, you're just like a bit...
Yeah, you just feel a bit run down a bit.
Just a bit run down, a bit rough, a bit ropey. It's fine though. This time, it's not, because I'm on holiday. And this last time I was on holiday, I like did too much. and ran myself into the ground. Whereas this time, I was like, I'm gonna do not that. The opposite of that. So I've been doing very little. It's been good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
And then, you know, that part of your brain kicks in where it's like, no, you should be doing more things. You're wasting your time.
Yeah. ADHD's a bitch.
And I'm just like, shut up, brain. You can't tell me what to do. Yeah. Quiet.
I just want to chill and watch my TV show and stop making me think of things.
Well, look, right.
That puts me down.
Look, brain, we've got a video game podcast. It's productive to play video games. Shut up.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, and he, brain, I know you're sick of me standing on my feet, but I've sat on my ass all day, so you need to stand up.
Yeah. We need to
Like
get the old legs moving.
That as well. My whole body might be just telling me that.
Yeah, sure. It's when we do a podcast and you've got like the sweatbands on, and you know those little weights that like do the thing where they go, and you're just like. So yeah, the thing about Activision Blizzard's labor violation.
Because they're cunts. I'm too knackered to speak normally. Wait, that is me normal. Damn it!
Wait, I said exactly what I would have said if I wasn't knackered.
Yeah, that's true.
How are you? How's things? How's life?
I'm all right. I'm not ill, but I kind of feel like you a little bit, where I'm feeling a bit run down. It just feels like it's been a long week.
Yeah, a bit. And even for me, and like not really doing anything, like I still feel like it's been a bit of a long week. Like I've done things, but not like, oh man, like I'm fucking all over the place. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I get where you're coming from there.
Yeah, it's just like, ugh.
Yeah, the world sucks. The world sucks. Like, can we just? Where's the meteor? Come on. Come on.
I've been calling
Hit me.
One went by. It decided to continue going by. He looked and he went, nah, not today, fam. Not today.
Yeah. No, we don't. We don't get alien invasions of meteors. We just get, viruses and pandemics. It's way more boring way around the world.
Yeah, and Tories.
Nazis. Lots of Nazis everywhere these days.
Bigots in general, yeah.
Yeah. What a fun way to start the podcast.
Fun way to start the podcast, yes.
Yeah. I mean, partially, I know partially why I'm knackered. And that's because I went out with my friend and had two of her children yesterday. And like, let me tell you something. No, I love other people's kids. Like, kids are fun when they're other people's kids, and you just have to hang out with them for a few hours, right? So you're in and you're out.
You're in and you're out.
You don't have to deal with all the other stuff.
The rest.
Yeah.
The rest of the day.
Yeah. But like, I'll tell you something though. Like, pushing a pram around with two kids in it, it's fucking tires you up, and that is a workout right there.
Oh yeah.
Like, fucking, that shit's heavy. But first time in my life, random strangers have been like have never been nicer to me than when I was just wandering around, like pushing some kids around. Like it was weird. It was a weird experience. Like just for how people were like, "Oh, let me get out of your way," you know, like, "Oh, let me hold the door for you," like. You know, going into shops and people were like, "Hi, how you? I hope you're having a good day." And just like normally, everyone's just like, "That's it. That's it. That's all I'll get if I get anything." Or I'll get people who are confused by me and just like, I've had that too. And like, no, everyone was super nice to me, and I was just like, "Oh man, you can do this more often. Like, this is nice."
So you're saying you're going to adopt a kid now? Is that what
Yeah,
you're saying here,
but purely just for going out.
I'm not buying it for the love of a child.
I'm not buying it at all.
So
Like, let's just make something very clear here.
I just realized what I said there. No, I'm not adopting a child out of love. I'm adopting a child.
I don't want a child
to get compliments when I'm walking about.
Yeah, but then I think about how much work it would be, and I'm like, maybe I'll just get a cat. I'll just get a cat instead.
A cat will be simpler.
Yeah.
Probably, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe it's cheap. I don't know.
No.
I'm not gonna lie. Cats
Probably
are
not.
The backside I've been told by my boss. So he loves them, but they're expensive bastards.
Everything's an expensive bastard.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I think it's expensive. Like apparently inflation was going down, but it's not anymore. So yeah, thanks Tories for that.
No, it's going to be half.
You lied.
It's going to be half of it. It's fine.
I'm surprised.
It's fine. The banks in America are slowly collapsing one after the other. So you know.
That's okay then.
We'll see what happens next. It's 2008 all over again. Yeah. Sad trombone noise indeed. So how come it's been a long week? Like, is it something specific or talk to Auntie Amy?
Talk frankly. Well, Amy,
that's not what I said.
I've been drinking a lot lately, snorting some cocaine.
Okay.
It's been really long.
Wow.
And I'm just meaning the line.
You mean long as in you haven't slept yet. So that's what you mean.
No, I honestly don't know. I just feel like it's felt like a long week. Like I woke up this morning, I was thinking, Wednesday.
You know what? And
my partner said, It's Thursday.
It's Thursday.
What? Excuse me?
Yeah.
Did I miss a Wednesday? I was thinking, no, that was yesterday.
You just slept.
What was this?
All the way through.
Basically, yeah, that's what it sounds like. I was on full autopilot yesterday, it seems like.
Nice.
And I didn't realize. No, yeah, it's just like, it just feels like it's just this week's dragged a little bit. And I'm just like, can the weekend be here yet? Type of thing.
No, because the closer I get to next week, we're not going there. To jump off of your cocaine joke, I dyed my hair brown. You can't really see because I don't have a light above me, but it's brown now. And so I was like, you know, pictures and people were talking and stuff. And Phil, this is running joke of calling me. You know, when I was orange, it was Tango Head. And then when I was blue, I said, "Oh, you can't call me Tango Head anymore." And he went, "Yeah, Tango Ice Blast Head now." So when I was brown, I texted him and I said, "Hi, what flavor of Tango am I now?"
Oh,
You're not Tango anymore. Now I'm Cokehead. Wait, hold on. Maybe it's Pepsi. Maybe we'll go with Pepsi.
Pepsi, all right?
Pepsi Head. Pepsi. That's a lot better.
Pepsi Head. That's a lot more easier.
Fucking Cokehead.
Oh, Phil. Can't wait to play with you, Phil, soon. In a couple of weeks.
We're getting the gang back together for...
Back together to play
some Among Us.
Cannot wait. I'm so excited for this.
I can confirm.
I might even shower by then. I mean, what?
I can confirm, because I asked her yesterday. I can confirm, is Erica going to be breaking out the Baileys? And the answer, unfortunately, is no. She's not going to be breaking out the Baileys, so...
Oh. I was gonna add some more stuff there, but that's for the go and check out the highlights, people. I'm just gonna say that.
It'll be easy to find.
This question was asked.
Questions were asked and answered by WikiHow.
Good times, good old times. Yeah, I'm excited. Like a few of us, it looks like it's going to be pretty much the full gang that I could see. So I'm really happy.
I just need what you need to do, really, is because you're the one who annoys everybody into doing stuff, right? This is why I wanted you to do it instead of me, because I I'm too passive and can't be bothered most of the time. I'm like Monkey in the Simpsons, that Homer overfeeds and he's just lying there going, "Eh." That's me. What you need to do is you need to go through the members list of everyone in the group chat and then see who's already responded, check them off, and then literally just start @ing people. It's like, yo, April 8th. April 8th. April 8th. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I might have finished Octopath Traveler 2 by then.
It's going to be hella fun.
I can't wait to be terrible at it. Like I was all the time we played it. I was awful at that game. People are always like, "Oh, you're really good at Imposter." And I was like, "Yeah, but what you can't see is the 6 layers of sweat dripping down me right now from the anxiety." I didn't mean to get that last kill. My hand was just so wet with sweat that I just accidentally slipped on the mouse. I fucking hate being an imposter. And I just know I'm going to be first. First up, I'm going to be an imposter. And I'm like, I can't do this.
So the reason why I text everyone was just like, I was rewatching our highlights videos.
Nice. That's what they're there for.
Like I remember obviously the one where you brutally torture me.
I mean that's an all-timer. That's
an all-timer. That one. That's arguably the creme of the creme of all highlights videos that you created. But yeah. But then it's like this other ones that were just so funny where I slaughtered Ryan so many times, which was so funny. And then you joined. Have you guys not killed him yet? I have been getting destroyed by him. And I'm just like, yes, you have.
Was that the same night that I ran up and killed you while Ryan was stood there, and then Ryan was just like, didn't see anyone?
That actually might have been it. Yeah, it might have been one of them.
There's that moment where we stare at each other, like character to character.
A quick second, yeah, and it's just like, yeah. And I'm walking away now.
Right? No, you reported it. Clear it off and just went, "Oh yeah, Moody's dead. I didn't see who did it though."
Yeah, well, I like the part. I like one of the ones was like where I just was running around. You were killing everyone. I was running around reporting it and said, "Just found this body.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who it is. didn't see anybody. It's here." Boom, to help you win, because you were always losing as imposter for a long time. So I was thinking, I'm going to help him. And I text you, I'll just tell me, are you imposter? Boom.
Got you. I got you.
I got you.
Yeah. No, I didn't see anyone. Yeah. Yeah. That was good. That was the time you completely fucking... Well done, Amy. Well done. Thanks, Moody. The game's not over yet, but thank you. Oh, no!
Yeah, it was funny. Do you want to check out those highlights, people, on the YouTube channel?
Yeah, youtube.com.
Some of the best ones for me are also like when you and me, where we, the horror game last year.
Phasmophobia?
No. The one where it was
Quarry.
Quarry, yeah. Quarry, that was some of the funniest
Chainsaw
ones. Now Kiss.
Yeah. No, my favorite highlight of all the highlights, my favorite highlight is from Phasmophobia, and it's me, you, and Foxes were playing. And I'm dead, you're dead, and we're standing in the school. And Foxes is on the radio, and he's just narrating everything like it's one of those fucking audio logs you find in a horror game, and he's just like, oh, it's like, well, it's not freezing temperatures, and then it's just, I'm just gonna say that I don't like this. I don't know, just lost it.
He was, oh fuck!
Oh fuck!
It was one of the funniest things. Yeah, miss you, Foxes. Come back, mate.
Come back. Please,
sir.
Please. That's it, Mooney. That's your mission. for April 8th. Because Fox has played Among Us with us a few times. Get him in. Bring Foxes back into the fold.
I will try.
And then once he's back in the fold and we've done this, then we can play it.
We never let him go.
We never let him go again. We never let him go. Ever.
Yeah, we strap him to a chair and say,
I'll
"You're
wrap
here
my-
until we stop playing games."
I'll wrap myself around his leg. Just like, no, no, come on, Team Tank. Does that mean nothing to you anymore?
There's a new one. We could be tanking that one together.
We can't.
Is it that bad?
No, there was only one tank in Overwatch 2. They took away they made it a 5v5 and took away one of them. They took away basically my role out of Overwatch 2. They must have watched all of the podcasts where I talked about the culture at Activision Blizzard and decided, you know what, she's not going to be playing Overwatch 2. We're going to take away the role that she's in all the time. Well, fine, fuck you then. I'll play Apex anyway. It's better. Actually, that's not even true. It's like, fine, I'll play Sea of Thieves instead. I reinstalled No Man's Sky.
Cool.
I haven't loaded it up
Game
yet.
of the year when the PS5 came out.
More or less. I feel like if I'd tried, bearing in mind that was also the year that I put Among Us in my top 5, I feel like if I had tried to put No Man's Sky in my Game of the Year list, and Among Us, I feel like you would have just garrotted me with your microphone stand.
No, I'm a different person to what I was then. For me, I would always still just go games that I've released this year. But if you want to do that, that's your decision. I'm never going to tell you you're wrong or right or anything like that. So you go for it.
Nah, I do have some limits, right? Otherwise it would be like, what's your Game of the Year this year, Amy? It's Bloodborne again, isn't it? Yeah, it's Bloodborne.
Dragon Age Inquisition.
It's Bloodborne again.
Final Fantasy 9.
Yeah. But yeah, no.
Life is Strange True Colors.
Yeah, I'm sold. I'm looking forward to playing up my PS5. I'm also looking forward to playing another duology of games. But instead of talking about the games, Mooney, how about we talk about the TV show that just aired instead? Because
that was about a game.
Watched it in 3 days.
Yep.
I had a plan. I was going to watch 3 episodes every day for 3 days.
There was only 9, so yeah.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I think it was, and I actually stuck to the plan. I was 1 in the morning, and then 1 with my tea, and then 1 at night.
Nice.
And it's the first time I've ever done that.
Yeah.
Actually rigidly stuck to a plan like that, and I did it.
Yeah, you're normally a binger. You're normally you go full on.
Normally, it's normally what happens is I'll watch 1 episode, right, and I'll be like, right, I'll go and do something else now. And if you imagine I've got the remote in my hand. But I mean, I'm already here. My Switch is all the way upstairs. That's usually what happens. The Last of Us, adapted by HBO, starring Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey.
Yep. And other people.
Well, so I'm not. I do video games. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Video game podcast reviews, essays, madness. So I'm going to yield this part of the podcast.
Are you asking me to come out of retirement here?
I'm going to yield this half of the podcast over to someone with a bit more experience in talking about movies and TV shows, and that is the glorious one himself. That's right. For one night only, we're bringing it back. Greetings and welcome to episode 1 of phase 2 of the Glorious Movie Show.
Phase 2.
Phase 2. Hosted by the one and only glorious one himself, Mr. Daffin, really.
Megan Hall. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary people. I hope everyone is well. So let's hear talking about The Last of Us TV show by HBO. The story is simple. After a global pandemic destroys civilization, a hardened survivor takes charge of a 14-year-old girl who may be humanity's last hope. The creators are Neil Druckmann, who was the director of Last of Us Part 1 and The Last of Us Part 2, and probably, let's be frank here, The Last of Us Part 3 when that gets announced. And Craig Mason, one of the two.
Mason.
Basically, he's done a lot of other stuff, but one thing that he is everyone loves him for, which I love him for, which is, for me, the best things that's been out since it came out, and that is the TV show Chernobyl that he did with HBO. I think that was, to me, still arguably one of the best TV shows ever created. I thought it was fabulous.
Cool.
Starring in the main two roles, as Amy's already alluded to, is Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. But on top of that, we have Anna Torres.
Anna Torv. Asian
Lamar
Olivia
Johnson.
Dunham in Fringe.
Yeah, Anna Torv, Lamar Johnson, Miley Linsky, Maylee Dandriggs, Nico Parker, and many other people. And there's also people who were in the Last of Us game who are actually in this show. But there's only one who is actually reprising her role from the Last of Us game, which is kind of funny for me. And I think that is... who is that?
Whoops.
Is one of the actresses. I can't remember her name.
Someone in there. That's going to be your trivia question for today.
That's my trivia question. That's
Who
your
was
trivia
it?
question, audience. Who is the person who reprised her role from The Last of Us Part 1?
So I'm guessing we're going to do, like, in this part where we talk about season 1, full spoilers for season 1 and full spoilers for the first game,
Yes.
but not
So
not
Amy-
anything that happens in part 2. We're going to do that later.
So, Amy, you already know my thoughts on The Last of Us Season 1. But I'm curious of what your opinions of The Last of Us Season 1 are. Obviously, you've played the first game. You loved the first game when it came out. You had high praise of it and everything.
I did.
But this is now a TV show. How has the adaptation been for you?
It was weird, right? Because obviously I know all of the main story beats of The Last of Us. So I was like, I texted you. I remember texting you before one episode where I was like, it's like the opposite of Star Trek Picard, where it's like, a guy turns up from Star Trek The Next Generation, and you go, oh, it's this guy, awesome. And then you watch The Last of Us, and like Henry and Sam like turn up, and I go, oh, it's Henry and Sam. Shit. Oh no. Like,
Oh, no.
I really liked season 1 actually. So like I loved the first game, but like I wasn't as high on the story as a lot of people were of the first game specifically. Like it's a really good story with really good writing, but like I never like held it to as highly as a lot of like part 2. Sure, like we'll have a conversation about that, but part 1 for me was always just like it's really good. And
that's still high praise. Let's just be frank. You're saying really good about something.
it's really good. Like, don't get me wrong, it is really good. And I really like this adaptation. Like, they hit all of the major beats and fixed stuff that was definitely wrong with the game in terms of the story, which I really liked. Like, they made some changes to some of the storylines that you see. And I thought I was gonna like when you start like getting into the rhythm of like how the season's structured, right? Because like a lot of the stuff in The Last of Us isn't focused on Joel and Ellie, right? Like there's like they don't have as much focus as you think they would, being the two main characters. Like they do a lot of world building and focusing on a lot of other storylines and a lot of other characters and like flashbacks and stuff. And I thought when I realized that was how they were doing it, I was like, this is going to annoy the shit out of me. And then I watched the whole season and I was like, this did not annoy the shit out of me. I was actually really good and I liked it a lot. Because I think you don't really realize until, or at least I didn't, until you like, because I only played the game years ago and I've never replayed it. Like when the remake came out last year, I never replayed it. And like playing the game to watching the TV show is like, it's a good story, but now that I think about it, there's not actually a lot of story there. Like, there's less story in the game than I thought there was. Because when I watched the show, and it's like, yeah, you covered everything. And I was like, how are you going to cover everything in 9 episodes? And I was like, no, you pretty much did cover everything in 9 episodes. And padded out a lot of other stuff. Like,
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, I loved it. It was a great season of television.
Yeah. Like my thoughts are like I loved it. I absolutely adored it. I thought Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey were perfect new iterations, let's say, of Joel Miller and Ellie Williams. They were absolutely amazing actors who performed those roles incredibly well. That's not taking anything away from the previous 2 actors who will be probably in some version of part 3. At least, I guarantee both of them will be in it, even though yes, something has happened to one of the characters.
No. This is a safe space for people who don't know what's happened
and everything like that. But no, either way, like I do believe both of them will be back for part 3 for the game, and that's Troy Baker and.
My head instantly went Nolan North, and I was like, "That's not right."
He is in Last of Us
Ashley Johnson.
Ashley Johnson, thank you very much for saving my ass there. But no,
that's fine.
Like those two, like who were in this show, they
were
the 2 final episodes, which is I thought it was a really nice nod.
It was cool.
Both
yeah,
very good performances in it, and I thought it was very cool at the same time.
Yeah, I was worried they were gonna have like main parts. And it was going to be distracting, but it was like, no, like Troy was in one episode and he was a side character. He had a few scenes, and then Ashley Johnson's scene was fucking amazing, incredible.
Awesome,
when she's like standing there, it's like, you fucking tell him, Ellie. And I was like, this is great.
It really is. Yeah, it was really fantastic, and really known as that she's Ellie in the show.
Yeah,
and it's, like we said, this is spoilers. She gives birth to Ellie in the TV show. I think it's absolutely. It's just like it's a good, nice little circle.
Yeah, and like they do a whole thing where it's like, oh, this is why Ellie's immune, and it's like, okay. It's a nice little touch.
They actually tell you that because they've never actually don't think they've ever really told you how she's become immune.
Yeah,
I think they say the same thing. Of what, like it's in her brain, but we actually still don't know in the game how she's immune. I'm pretty much sure that they're probably just gonna put that as canon as the game in the game.
Yeah, sure.
This is how she was.
It's never really mattered that much, but it was a nice touch. You know, it was a nice touch.
That's true. Yeah, it has never really mattered really, and that's really what's the best thing about it. That's something. Yes, it could save humanity, but it's more. It's about these characters. It's about everything about them, and I thought what they did really well with Pedro Pascal's character, they made him, apart from the final episode, they made him human. Like they made him destructible. He could get hurt. He could be in pain, and he suffered a lot. Like they gave him quote unquote a disability because he was half deaf in one of his ears and everything. He couldn't hear very well, and I thought that was just a nice little touch just to help humanize him even more. My favorite part of him is the part where he finally meets up with his brother, and they have that talk and everything. He completely breaks down. I was just like. That's his pitch for the Emmy, people. That's his Emmy pitch.
Oh
right
yeah,
there.
Like
his Emmy pitch.
Yeah, like that whole episode was awesome, and it's just like because it is one of those moments even in the game where it's just like because even in the game, you know, you have the similar sort of setup where it's like Joel is telling Tommy like, listen, you have to do this because I can't do it, and like they flesh it out more, and I love how cozy the town is.
Yeah.
Like it's a town like I mean, you know. Mushroom infected zombies aside, I would like to live in that. That town looks like somewhere I would love to live, but like it's just like you know they flesh it out to the point where it's like it's not just a couple of conversations. It's like he has like first they have they have an argument and like they butt heads. That's awesome because that's exactly what would happen in that situation. And then like Joel started having panic attacks. And like I was like, that's awesome because he's been through a lot of shit in the last 20 years and in like the last fucking 3 months or whatever it's been. So I love that. And then obviously they have the breakdown. He has his breakdown and he talks to him and then he just pulls himself together and gets stabbed.
After a talk with Ellie, obviously. Yeah. Which obviously isn't in the same place as the games, which that's never bothered me whatsoever. But they still had the same impact.
It's the same. It's a similar conversation, right?
Yeah. Which I thought was really good. So I'm very curious about one thing for your question. For one thing for you is, what did you? As you've already known, everyone has hailed episode 3 as arguably the best episode, not only of the TV show, but arguably one of the best episodes of TV in the last 10 years.
I mean, I don't know about TV in 10 years, but it's definitely the best episode of The Last of Us. Season
I agree.
1.
I think it is. I think it's arguably the best episode of The Last of Us because for me, what I love about it is that I'll state to this, people may disagree with me. They took a one-note character and dehumanized him.
Like
in the game, Bill is a one-note character. Yes, and I'll state this: they got the right actor to play him.
They fucking did. Holy shit, did they?
Nick Offerman was incredible,
and the guy he was playing against, Frank. Was also just amazing.
Murray Bartlett.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
Every scene together they had together was just absolutely fucking incredible. Like in the game, Bill's storyline, it's not great. Like and as a piece of representation, it's fucking terrible. Like I did miss because Bill and Ellie don't meet in the TV show, and I did like their back and forth in the game.
Yeah.
But I'll happily trade that in for and there's and there's the scene where that's where Joel gets stuck in one of his traps in the game, and it's like you're hanging upside down and infected is trying to kill you. I was like, that would have been cool to see in the TV show as well. But again, I'll trade that in for the fucking absolutely incredible story we get in episode 3. Like I could talk about episode 3 for the entire rest of this podcast.
Yeah, the entire episode 3 was just like, that is how you do adaptation right. I think I'll say this for me. I think the adaptation throughout the entire show was right. It was an incredible show for me. I thought they did a respectable job that respected the show, respected the game, but also changed things up at the same time. But they kept, for the most part, the core elements that happened in the game. Yeah. Apart from really the Frank and Bill thing. Apart from that Frank is dead, dies at the end.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, yeah, that's so much better than, because again, like if you don't know, if you haven't played the game and you're interested, you come across, it's in a town, it's in a proper like city, not in like a little suburb that he's fenced off. And you go through his traps and you're trying to find Bill, and like you have to go and get a car basically. So kind of similar to what they're doing in the show. And then like he left him a note, and he said like, another moment with you would be the fucking worst or whatever, and he didn't get very far and hung himself or died, one of the two. And it's a really, really fucking thoroughly unsatisfying piece of fiction, essentially. So it's like a 180 in the show, where it's just like it ends so perfectly well. Like the scene with the wine bottles and like he puts the pill and then he drinks it, and then there's like that realization of he's done it as well, and it's just like, oh, okay, they're going down this road instead, and like it's beautiful. You get to see this like really 20-year love story between these two guys who just like find each other in the apocalypse, and fuck. Like I loved every moment of it. Like
it's a gut punch. It's really well done.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's amazing, and that's what I loved about it. And what it's basically it made a quick story of a 1-episode story, basically a 1-episode story, because it was basically that their story was pretty much the full episode, but there was like obviously Joel and Ellie at the beginning and at the end. But that basically the story was basically what we were going to see long term of the story between Joel and Ellie in the show. Bill says at the end, My job was to look after you. I am content. I am a happy man. I've fallen in love, basically.
Yeah, what is it? I'm old. Life. I'm satisfied.
Yeah, I'm satisfied, and it's basically I'm content. I'm ready to go, type of thing, and that's just like emotional. But it's like he says in his letter, what he leaves for Joel
to whomever. But probably Joel.
Probably Joel.
Yeah, I love that bit.
Yeah, especially how Bella.
Yeah,
it was really good. It's like Joel is protector. That's what he is. He is a protector. He's and that's what I think what hits home even more for like the finale and everything like that is that. Like you said, like I did not realize when the finale happened for the original game. I didn't realize it was controversial with that game or anything.
Yeah, not in like the way we talk about controversies usually on this show, but just in terms of like nobody could agree on.
It was divisive. Yeah,
whether it was did Joel do the right thing? Is Joel the bad guy? Like that kind of thing, and it was just like everyone had opinions, and it was a really interesting time to be like talking about video games as stories and narratives, because again it was like 2013, right? Like we were only just coming to terms with the idea of video games being art. Mass Effect 3 had only just happened.
Yeah, it did. They came out that same
year. The year before. Came out the year before.
2012, yeah. Oh, excuse me. You're spot on there. Yeah, it's like that's what it's all about, and that's why I think a lot of people like where they raised the bar, where the people say the bar was raised even higher when it comes to the story, when it came to The Last of Us and everything, because that made people think it arguably broke into the mainstream for it, and it broke even more into the mainstream because obviously we've had the show, which has been an incredible success for it.
Yeah, The Last of Us is something that's like, even before the TV show came out, it was something people had heard of.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. What were your thoughts on how they handled Sam?
I loved it. Sam and Henry,
story.
and then it's more or less the same story. Like, it's one of the things that they nailed in season 1 in general, where it's like, you don't have to have all of these gameplay sections. You know, they're like, well, we don't want a place to get bored, so we better give them something to shoot, right? So, like, you can take most of that out and make an awesome TV show, which is what they did. So, like, I like the way they changed it. They changed how it ends, where it's like, okay, so the infected and all the
that was
Kathleen's gang and stuff all coming in at the same time. Like, that was awesome. And like the bit where they find Ish's bunker, and it's like, it's just a bit where they can just sit and talk, and you can watch Ellie and Sam play and stuff, instead of being what it is in the game, which is, you know, fucking zombies everywhere.
A nightmare.
Yeah. And so, like, even just that, it's like, that was a perfect example of just like what happens when you remove most of the video game stuff from the adaptation. But like, even just like the change to Sam being deaf, I thought was an excellent change. It might not necessarily have been necessary for the story to still be as emotionally like resonant, but it worked really well in the story of the TV show.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. What I loved even more was like how like what you said already, like we're able to make these certain elements happen in what were in the game and make them more nuanced. They made the character development parts of it, like when they're in the sewer system and everything, which I thought was really, really, really canny. But yeah, it's like, to know though, like, I was watching with my partner. Like, my partner did not know what was coming and whatsoever.
Wow,
and, like, when that happened, it was amazing.
I wish, that's my one thing about watching season 1, is like, I wish I could have had that experience and watched this alongside someone who didn't know what was going to happen, versus me sitting there being like, Henry and Sam are here, just being like, it's like, you all right? Like, that all they're doing is sitting talking. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
They're just talking.
They're just talking. Don't worry about it. And then he writes on his little board, like, you know, when they're talking about what they're scared of the most. And he's like, do you think when you turn into a monster, it's still you? And it's just like, I'm going to rip my fucking chair arms off in a minute.
And hit myself with it.
Yeah. Knock myself out so I don't have to see this bit.
Yeah. It was so good. But it's like another part what helped humanize Joel even more was that part, he was completely helpless. Like, Henry could have killed him and could have killed Bella and gone in complete rage, but he didn't. He took his own life at the end after killing Sam.
That's how it works in the game as well, right? Isn't it? Like,
yeah, but I don't think you had Joel like.
Joel was frozen in the show, whereas I think in the game it was more a case of he was in that position of ready to like tackle him, because Henry had him at gunpoint. And I even remember playing the game the first time where it's just like, what the fuck is he gonna do here? And like I remember being shocked when he just shot his brother and then shot himself. Right? Like, I was shocked that was what actually happened. And they translate it so well from the game, where it's just like, it's what, 60 seconds?
Yeah, it's a quick.
Like, they don't hang on it. It's just bang, and then he's just like, what the fuck did I do? And then you think, is he going to try and fucking kill everyone in the room? And then he just shoots himself and it's done.
Yeah.
And like, that's the way that scene needs to work to be as impactful as it is.
Yeah, completely agree. Like, they kept in the things that were right, but also improved on the things that, like we said on episode 3, made the characters more believable, more better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's always that thing in video games in general, right? Like, Last of Us and Uncharted are both big examples of this, where it's just like, you know how many people Joel Miller fucking murders in the video game? And it's just like, at a certain point, like, this is ridiculous. Like, if you even talk about that scene with where it's like Sam and Henry in the game, but they're in the house, and like Is it like there's loads of fucking guys coming for them and you're shooting them from the house and you kill like 100 fucking people, and it's just like, you can't put this in the TV show because it's fucking stupid. Like, it works in a video game because, again, we need to give our players something to do. Like, but you can't put it in the TV show. It would just be absolutely ludicrous, and I fucking love how they do it in the TV show. The thing, they've already set it up with the infected underground, and the thing sinks, and the boom, everything comes out, and that big fucker gets out, and it's just like, oh shit, this is awesome, and like, I love the communicate. Even in that one scene, it's very subtle, but like that subtle communication between like Joel, he's in the window of the house with the sniper rifle, and Ellie keeps like looking at him, like you can see Joel's just like knows what she's gonna do, and it's just like. Yeah, you can see him.
To protect.
Yeah, you can see him because she's going to go and run across and try and get to Sam and Henry, who are trapped under a car, and you can see Joel just be like, "Fuck's sake!"
Fine. Oh, I'll say this: creepiest child zombie ever.
Oh, it was so good though.
It was the creepiest thing ever. It really, just because of how she bent and everything. They've never done that before. They have never done that before.
Yeah.
Being so flexible and everything, it's just like, no, that's like my worst nightmare.
Like, fuck that. Fuck off. Fuck you. Fuck this shit. I'm out.
What I thought was even more well, not funny, but it was just like, I thought it was just like, no, it made me laugh because it did, I won't lie, that the bloater took out Jeffrey Pierce, who played Joel's brother in the game, and he took him out. How the bloater kills, rips your head off.
Yeah,
and I was just like,
and it's just in the background. And he's just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Throw that away. I don't need that anymore.
Yeah, it was really, really kind of. But I loved. I did enjoy those 2 episodes either way because it was a good build up, and it was just like we didn't know the enemies around that part in the game, and they were just cannon fodder for Joel to beat the living shit out, or even even and whatnot. And just to get the hell out of it. But they humanized the place with the character and everything. And even though, yes, you do not agree with Marlene Linsky's character, Kathleen, you do understand where she's coming from and everything. You see her point. And it's just like, it's a point of like a part where Joel could have gone down. That's a lead, a dark alley he could have gone down.
Well, he did.
When obviously,
I mean, it's in his backstory, like, you know, and they reference it multiple times in the show. That's a path he did walk down, and he's walking back from that path. And the whole Kathleen storyline is just about how, like, the path of vengeance will destroy you. That theme might be relevant going forward. We'll see, though.
Oh, hell yes. Hell to the yes. And I think that's probably why they did this. They would have already known. They've probably set up for season 2. They would have been like greenlit ages ago. They've just finally announced it when they were halfway through the season, I think. But and that's just been even more prevalent, and it's going to be more of a reminder when that comes around and everything, which is going to be fantastic to watch and everything. I'm not just going to show. Glad I'm off social media for that discourse this time.
I'm going in, I'm going in. I'm just like, you know what? I've been here before. I know what's going to happen. I'm diving in, feet first. Fucking, I'm going to be all over it. Just like this. I'm just going to get my entertainment where I can.
Yeah. So we're going a little bit like every
let's just go around.
I'm loving that floor. So I want to bring up Joel's daughter.
I was going to say it. Can we rewind to episode 1?
Yeah. First episode, which I thought was a killer pilot. It was a killer pilot. Because
see what you did there.
Killer pilot.
Killer.
That was not intentional at all. So we get more flushed out with the daughter and everything. And what they look. Yes, we all know what's going to happen and everything because we've played the game and everything. But what I love so much is that they kept that up so much because they made you think that she's the main character along with her dad.
Well,
that she's the main character.
Really. So that's what Phil, because I alluded to this in last week's podcast when we were doing the intro, and I was telling that story about Phil playing The Last of Us for the first time.
Yeah,
and that's what he said. Like when he started the game, and it's Joel and Sarah. He all he knew about The Last of Us was it's a guy and his daughter. Everybody thinks it's a guy and his daughter. It's not, obviously. You find out pretty fucking quickly. But like, yeah, so he just assumed that Sarah was Ellie, quote unquote, in the game. So like, even if you know like the main thing about The Last of Us, it still tricks you. Like it tricked Phil. He was completely unprepared for it, in part because he thought he knew who the 2 characters were, and he didn't. Nobody does.
Yeah. Which is just like, again, but I think they did so well because like they stretched it out. You got to see her go to school.
Yeah, so you got to see the whole day.
Yeah. But I love the clocks. Every time you saw a clock, So for us, we know something's coming. We know the thing is coming and everything like that. And people who obviously know Paso, who might have researched a little bit for the show, think, oh, this is a zombie game. Sure, okay. So we know something's going to come, but obviously they just don't know.
The zombies are coming. Just no one expects the 20-year time jump.
Is that as well? Which I think is just like, and I loved how they paralleled it really good of how they ended the first episode, because like obviously halfway through, Joel's just lost it. He's frozen when he's trying to protect.
Yeah, well, he can't move.
Sarah.
He's got a guy. There's a guy, an army guy with a gun pointed at him. You know what I mean? And he's got a girl. Like that's it. Like he's not going to throw her at him. Like ha ha ha, distraction.
No,
like,
but it's kind of in the same. But the ending is kind of the same. But apart from he's not holding Ellie or anything like that.
No.
But this time he doesn't freeze. He goes in.
Yeah.
He does that one risk that he wishes he could have done to save Sarah.
More than likely,
potentially could have saved Sarah, and he did. He saved Ellie and Tess for one episode and everything. But no,
for about 20 minutes or so, you know, like fine, it's fine.
But I loved how they did the world. The world just felt lived in. It was really well done, I thought.
Yeah, I was watching the No Clip documentary about The Last of Us Part 1 remake. And they said something that really struck with me in terms of like remaking the game, but also like in terms of like building out the TV show in the world, where it's just like the first episode is like once you get into the quarantine zone in Boston, like it's desolate, it's grey, it's like it's shit, right? And like they talked about that when they were remaking it, like because the reason it looks the way it does in the first game is because of technical limitations. Like most of the things in the first game are done because of technical limitations on the PlayStation 3. And when they were remaking the game for the PS5, they didn't have any of those technical limitations, so they could do more stuff. And one of the things that they almost did was they almost put loads more stuff in the Boston QZ in the first episode, in the first part of the game, and then they realized that the vibe of that place needs to, like, you can do that elsewhere. Like as soon as you get out on the other side of the wall in both the game and the TV show, it's like it's overgrown. It's 20 years of like vegetation that's like, you know, it's all black and stuff, and it looks awesome, but it only works because you contrast it with the sparseness of being in the QZ, because you don't have anything. It's a fascist military dictatorship where they hang people.
The government are all Nazis.
I love that line where it's just like, the government aren't all Nazis. It's like, yes, they are. It's like, yeah, but they weren't.
Not back then.
Yeah, not back then. They are now.
Which I'm not going to lie, it did get all the governments in the world today, especially the UK and the US politics. Basically.
That line.
If you may not, I don't care if you'd like that or not. Yes, they called you all Nazis.
That line cracked me. The government aren't all Nazis. Yes, they are, yeah, but not back then. Because they are in this.
It was an inside job.
They're way more overt about it in the show than they were in the game, where it's just like, yeah, this is fascism. Like, this is what the government, so like I guess the military run everything in Boston. This is what they're like, and like this is what they were like in Kansas City before Kathleen and her gang fucking killed everyone, and then decided to do the same thing, but with more beards, I guess. Like everybody looked like a biker instead of a fucking military guy. But yeah, it's a good. It's good that they did that, and I think it's more prescient now than it was in 2013.
Most definitely. So off the top of my head, I think there's 3 more points I want to talk about.
All right, we got time before halftime.
Yeah, I think we might have to cut out a couple of stories.
Probably.
Unless you want to push your review to next week.
My review's not on here anymore. I took it out.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing it next week.
Okay. Let's just call it what it is. The DLC episode.
Left Behind. Like that's what I text you. Hey, it's DLC.
Yeah, the Left Behind DLC episode. Let's just be frank. I thought the DLC episode was very well done. I did enjoy it, but I don't think I connected with the character Riley as much, I think, as compared to as I did in the show.
So
and everything. For me personally, this is just a me thing or anything like that. But I thought they did a very good job with the character.
I feel like we're going to talk about this more when season 2 and 3 come out, in terms of like how connecting to a TV show versus connecting to a video game, because a big part of, and without spoiling anything, a big part of part 2 is the fact that you are the player, and like it brings you into the story somewhat. And like, so I get that, because Left Behind, the episode of TV, you can sit down if you want. I know you seem to be struggling. If you want to lower your desk, I can talk for a bit.
No, I'm fine. I gotta keep this going.
All right, cool. Left Behind, the TV show episode, like it's in a difficult position, right? Because like, I mean, there's so much going on in the story, right? And like, Joel's fucking dying, and now we're gonna go and spend an entire episode in a mall, like fucking about.
A flashback.
With a flashback with a character we know is gonna die. Like, I feel like even if you've never played the games, you don't know what's gonna happen to Riley. Like, just from the dialogue of the first episode alone, you know Riley's not gonna fucking make it out of this mall.
Yeah, you know she's not around.
Because you know what happens to Ellie. Because she's told you.
Yeah.
So like, it's
like they hinted at it in episode 2.
Yeah.
What were you doing in there?
Like, oh yeah, it's like,
you alone?
Yeah, I was definitely alone. It was just me.
Yeah, me, all by myself.
All by myself, no one else. And and I don't know, like, as a DLC episode of a video game that you play after you've played the game, it's fun, right? It's cool to go in and go back and experience. I don't think there's any way to elegantly insert that into a TV season. Like, I don't think there was anywhere they could have put that, unless they made that episode 2. But even then, I don't think it would have worked. Like, there's nowhere to put this. You know what I mean?
Well, if I remember rightly, the DLC basically is the part where Joel has just been injured in the game.
Sure, yeah. But I think obviously from people like myself, we played the game, right? And then it was like, oh, DLC time. And then it's like, it's a thing you experience after the game. And when you're playing a game, you have a lot more leeway for long breaks in terms of like in the story, right? Like, that's what a video game is. You'll see a cutscene and an awesome story thing will happen, and then it might be 40 minutes before you get to the next part while you're fighting your way through zombies and stuff. So like a big sort of break of like, oh, we're gonna go off and see this thing. Like, I think it works better in a game than it does in a season of TV. So I see where you're coming from. Like, for me, it was probably like, so it was weirdly like awesome to see it adapted, but probably the most I looked at my phone while I was watching the show.
Fascinating. Why is that, man?
I don't know. Like, I think it might just be that case of just like, I just want to see what happens. Like, I want to see the story go forward, not backwards at this point, right? And there's nothing wrong with the episode, and I loved bits of the episode, like the photo booth bit, awesome. Mortal Kombat 2, fucking great. I don't know. Like, it didn't grab me and hold me like the rest of the show did. Like, in a weird way, because obviously, like, I know everything that was going to happen.
Yeah.
with like a few caveats of what they've changed and stuff. But it's like, I don't know. Like, I guess I was just like, where's my giraffe? Give me my fucking giraffe. Like, give me, come on, right? T minus when until the fucking giraffe turns up, right? Best character in the fucking in the franchise. But no, it's just, it was fine, and the actors were good. Like, Bella Ramsey was awesome, and the actor they got to play Riley was fantastic.
Storm Reed.
I don't know. There's just something about maybe it was how long. Like, maybe it was how long it was, and how they couldn't unpack a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? And it was very generic in terms of like a story we've seen a million times before in a TV show, where it's just like character is secretly leaving and wants to have a cool last night, and then the other character finds out and gets mad and then storms off, but then they come back, but also they secretly want to kiss each other, and then, oh no, something bad happens, and it's like, okay, it's well done in the show, and I'm not saying it was bad, but I'm saying I've seen this before.
Yeah, the thing is, that's the episode. That's the DLC in general. Though at the same time, that's the
Well,
thing,
the difference in the DLC
that,
in back in 2014, I think it was when it came out. It was like also like, oh, they've got two girls and they're kissing each other. This is a big deal.
yeah, no doubt about it. I understand where you're coming from. That's a little bit surprised. I do agree with you. It follows the same tropes of what we've already seen before and everything like that. Well, I think a lot of the episodes in the last.
Oh, a lot of them. A lot of them. I mean, the Last of Us as a whole is a fucking trope. If you want to break it down, sure. But I don't know, like you get like little twists and turns and stuff, whereas this was played very straight. And I understand why it was played very straight. I understand why they didn't change a lot from the game as well, which I don't think they should have. But I don't know. Like for me, it was just like, cool. Let's see what's next. Oh, it's David. Maybe I'll just watch episode 7 again.
I very much enjoyed the 7th episode. The 8th? No,
7th. It was the 7th
episode. Yeah, I very much enjoyed it. It's just I thought because it's just like for me connecting to the characters again. Like I didn't connect to Riley in the game very much, but I connected to her in here. Even though yes, I knew what was going to happen and everything. It was just something that worked for me personally. But I understand where you're coming from with that. Let's talk about David.
No, I don't want to talk about David.
Let's talk about David.
He traumatized me 10 years ago, and he's fucking traumatized me fucking 2 days ago, and I don't want to talk about it. Next question.
So in the game, he was played by Nolan North, which I didn't know about until a few years ago, which I thought was really funny. But no, this is basically that episode is the breaking of Ellie. Ellie's innocence is pretty much broken by the end of the episode, because let's get into it. She almost gets sexually assaulted by a psychopath predator, basically, who went completely insane since the pandemic went down. I'll say this right now: he was played brilliantly. I'll say this by. Where are you? I saw you, Scott Shepherd. I thought he played him incredibly well. I thought, like, this is you are really doing this really well. And well done to you there. This was also the episode Troy Baker came in, which is also the episode Troy Baker died in. Into the neck.
Look, right. If I was gonna be on the Last of Us TV show, I'm just saying I would want to get killed by Ellie.
That may be true, yeah, but I didn't expect him to be part of David's crew.
So I knew he was going to be part of David's crew. Like, I don't know, it must have been something social media.
That he was.
I never watched any of the trailers apart from that Mario Kart one that Saturday Night Live did. Like, I just knew it must have been pictures and stuff. I thought he was going to be playing David, and then he wasn't, and I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, okay,
yeah.
I don't know if I would have been like. I don't know. Like, yeah, if he was playing David, I don't know if I would have enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that is Joel.
Yeah,
it's like.
But no, yeah, I loved like how this happened all again. Like, I thought Ellie again. This was arguably one of her most standout performances by Bella Ramsey. She was absolutely incredible in the place. I thought like just like the symbolism that they put into this episode, like obviously of God and everything, of what David was always saying and whatnot, and basically he was like the dictator. He was a dictator of that part, just like there was dictators in each district that are out there, and I think obviously under martial law or something crazy like that. And yeah, and I really just enjoyed it. I thought David was really, really good. I was curious how they were going to handle this episode, and they handled it basically how it handles in the game. I think
it was probably a little bit more explicit in the show than it was in the game, but I think that's probably just, you can do that in 2023 when you can't really. You could do that less in 2013.
Yeah, probably, yeah. And this is also HBO.
And this is HBO.
They don't understand the word explicit.
They invented it.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But no, yeah, but also like I think this was also just another strong episode by Pedro where you just saw the evilness of Joel, it's from love that he's like, I'm going to find my girl. I'm going to find my quote unquote daughter.
I mean, the torturing scene is next level awesome.
Yeah, it is next level.
You point on here, and you better point at you better. Yeah. It's so like, I ain't telling you shit. Oh no, it's fine. I believed him. Crack. I was like, yep, that's Joel.
Yeah, it was an incredible scene. The only difference is that he grabs her outside of the diner instead of inside the diner.
I mean, it's on fire. Like,
yeah,
that might just be we don't want to burn our two principal actors alive.
that's fair. David, you can burn. That's fine.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. There's a risk if there's a risk here that we might kill our two main characters. Maybe cast members. Like, maybe we should do this outside. Good call.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, it was,
I got you, baby girl. Is always gonna be.
Yeah,
is always gonna go through me. Like.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful line because it's when he finally. It's where we're like, he's there, he's there, he's there, and then they punch you in the face for the final episode.
They did it really well.
To show how, yeah, they did it incredibly well. They did the whole thing of like the trauma that Ellie's going through and everything.
They've reversed. So like by episode 9, it's like there's a role reversal. Joel's chatting and trying to like keep her spirits up, and Ellie's just not there for it because she almost got sexually assaulted. And yeah, then the giraffe scene. I love the fact that they actually do the video game stuff in this episode. Can I just point that out? Where it's just like, I'll give you a boost, and then they do the boost, and it's like, push that ladder down, and she pushes the ladder down. It's like, that's the video game.
It's the most video game episode out of all the episodes. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, yeah. For reasons we'll get to in a minute.
I thought it was funny when I found out online, people saying, "Jeez, that's the worst looking CGI giraffe forever." It's a fucking real giraffe.
I know.
You fucking
what? It's the worst. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you know what? It's a terrible CGI giraffe because it's a fucking giraffe.
Yeah, I was like, how bad are your TVs? How bad is your pirated copy?
Yeah. Well, you're watching this in 360p on a blurry copy. You download it off a torrent site, dickhead.
Yeah, it's like, no wonder it's bloody bad. It looks like a bad CGI giraffe. Yeah. The thing that didn't look great was the blue screen behind him. I can appreciate that.
Sure.
But that didn't care. I didn't care about that. The moment was just.
It's the moment.
Just like the game. It's the moment. Yeah, it's the moment that makes you just.
It's my favorite scene in The Last of Us.
Basically.
Like part 1, like the game. It's my favorite scene in the game. And like, because you like, and again, it speaks to like being the player versus being someone passively watching it. It's like, you've been through all this shit, like, and then it's like, you get to that point and it's like, there's a giraffe and it's just a nice scene. And will they top that in season 2 or 3? Who knows? Certainly not me. But like, it's just such a great moment. And like, speechless. It's, like they translated it pretty much beat for beat into the TV show, rightly so, because it's one of the best moments of the series.
No doubt about it. Yeah, it really is. Like I loved even more that Joel opened up even more that he tried to suicide.
Yeah, the guy. I love
after his child died.
I love the way he tells that story, like in retrospect, right? Because he tells the story of like, how'd you get the scar, and it's like someone shot at me and we missed. Happens more often than you'd think. And then in episode 9, he's telling the story where it's like, the guy who tried to shoot me was me. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I missed it. Flinched. And it's like, it's a really like, it's a cool moment because you would assume that's like, because this didn't come out in the game.
No, not that I know of.
No. But you would assume that something like that might have happened. And it's just,
how broken he is when you first meet him in the game. Yeah.
They don't linger on it. They don't overplay it. It's a conversation that he has with Ellie, and then it's done. Yeah, and it's a really, really nice moment.
But it's also a lovely part of where they basically say "I love you" to each other without saying "I love you."
And it's the last chance they're gonna have.
Which was incredible.
I love it. And then the puns, and then it's like, I need a pun.
Amazing. I love the one when he first actually laughed. In your jeans.
I did that. I said that to Keith when we were playing Titanfall last night. I used that exact pun on him, because he asked me like, "Oh, so you enjoy it?" Because I know he's not going to watch it. And he goes, "Oh, you enjoy it?" And I said, "Yeah."
Do we have to try and strangle him again?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him. Like, but like, yeah, it's like, he was like, "Oh, it's puns in it," because you got the pun book, and then I just did the pun, diarrhea. It's in your jeans, runs in your jeans. And yeah, that was an awesome moment. Just before we go to the hospital as well, I love the direction of the scene where they're walking, and like you see the guys come out from behind, and like
Yeah.
the camera makes no big deal of it, and you just like, you know, and then you see the grenade
like,
and
wait,
stuff,
what?
and it's not even focused on the grenade. You just see it coming, and it's just like, that was fucking cool. That was a really great way to do that.
Yeah, no doubt. Now let's get onto the scene that's obviously the controversial thing talked right now when it comes to the ending of The Last of Us Part 1, which is obviously they find out that Ellie has to die to basically give the potential cure. They don't know if they could actually cure to save humanity. So basically, this is when
disagrees.
He disagrees. He disagrees with their assessment. I love, again, it's completely taken out of the game, the dialogue, and they just nail it every time, which is really, really well. And again, a shout out, finally got a name for who played Marlene was Marlene Dangerage. She played the character in the game as well, and again does an incredible performance here as well for the show. She does I wonder if it was just like riding a bike for her. I've already played this.
I've done this.
So good.
Piece of cake. I'm only in 2 episodes.
Oh wait, I'm
so
getting paid.
fine.
How much now? Hey.
I'm only in
Thank you, HBO.
She's only in 2 episodes, so it's not like great deal of work. Not like she has to do anything.
It's not her fault.
It's not like she has to do much. She just shouts at Joel for a bit and then gets shot.
That's basically it. So Joel obviously disagrees, gets let out, and then decides to go, I'll be back.
Yeah. Right now.
Right now.
And fucks everybody up.
Terminator. If you've seen the Terminator, basically this whole scene is the police station scene.
But in a hospital.
Yeah, it's
a really cool juxtaposition of imagery when he gets to the pediatrics unit and he's walking towards the surgical unit, and there's that kid's painting just on the side of the wall as he's walking down. It's a really interesting juxtaposition with a man on a mission who's just murdered a bunch of people. And it's like, this is the one part in the TV show where it's not ridiculous that he just fucking murders everybody.
Yeah, it is. It is. I thought how they put in the music, and like you couldn't hear it. It was like they echoed everything out basically, or dimmed it down. I thought it was really beautiful how they did it. I have no problem with the ending whatsoever. I do think Joel is in the right, but also in the wrong at the same time. I think he's a bit of a both here, for me.
Yeah, so I get the why it's controversial, and I get why it comes to like people disagreeing with each other. That makes perfect sense. Yes. That's what the ending was set up to do. Yeah. Someone who shall remain nameless might have been thinking about doing a video of The Last of Us for like a year or two now. And there was a quote from a philosopher whose name escapes me, that I wanted to use in the video for this particular scene, which is a tragedy, and I'm paraphrasing it, I'll probably butcher it, but a tragedy isn't right versus wrong. A tragedy is right versus right, where it's like both sides, the Fireflies and Joel are right. They're both right, and they're both wrong in other ways. And that's what makes it such a thing that you can have a debate about, because it comes down to what you believe, right? Like, there's a chance to fucking save the world, but also you have to kill Ellie to do it, right? And like, both sides are in the right. It's like, saving the world, maybe it is worth one person, but then again, maybe it's not. Captain Picard would argue that it's not. But I don't know if you've got Terminator in a hospital.
Kirk would argue it because he stole the Enterprise to bring a man back to life.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what makes the ending so powerful and works so well, is that you are uncomfortable no matter what. Like, if Joel had done nothing and walked away and they'd done whatever they needed to do to Ellie, it still would have been, you know what I mean? Like, you still would have had arguments about who did the right thing. Like, yeah,
I do. Like, for me, it's like, I just thought that it's not arguments. It's just like
argument was probably the wrong word. Like, because it's debate and it's allowed. You know, this is one of those things where it's like, you can have a debate about this, and as long as you keep it respectful.
Yeah. I liked how they lingered just a little bit on when he killed the doctor.
I wonder why they did that.
I wonder why they did
Check out. Maybe check out the podcast after the indie game of the week halftime break. Maybe we'll talk about that somewhat.
But yeah, again, goes to the whole thing. Does the exact same ending to what the
pretty much, yeah.
game
Well,
was.
he didn't, because he didn't kill the nurses, and I think you'll find
that's the bit that he does. You get a choice to do that. That's when you can you decide to do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're saying, oh, he did it the way in the game. No, not in my game, he didn't.
Yeah, not in my first game, he didn't.
I was like, fuck this, I'm going all fucking in. Bam, bam. If I'm killing some of these fuckers, I'm killing all these fuckers.
True, yeah.
Laura Bailey was in this scene.
Yeah, I was just about to say, shout out to a character from Last of Us Part 2, Laura Bailey.
You can hide her behind a surgical mask, but I have seen too many TikToks of Critical Role not to recognize Laura Bailey when I see her.
I won't lie, I didn't recognize her until I saw the Screen Crush video of them. But no, yeah, it's I loved the show. I thought the show was an incredible homage to the game. I thought it was just very well done. I understand from a certain point where people say, has this broken the mainstream media when it comes to video games? I think with how bad video games things have been, I think there's a debate that could say yes, but at the same time, I would just say, go and check out Chris Stuckman's video where he basically knocks it all out and says, no, the debate's been done. Shut up, you morons. Blah, blah, blah.
And even if it hasn't, who gives a shit?
Sonic 2 still sucks.
I haven't seen
it. Well, let us know, everybody, what are your thoughts on The Last of Us Season 1? Because now we're going to go into the halftime show, and then we're going to get...
And then, let's be fair, the rest of this podcast is going to be Last of Us. Like, I thought when I filled up Moody's time to shine, I was like, I don't think we're going to talk about any of this, but I'll put it in just in case. Like, Moody decides to be monosyllabic. Like, yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Like, we did this last time when The Last of Us Part 2 came out, and we did a podcast reviewing it. The whole podcast was us reviewing the game. I knew what we were going to do.
True.
If there are a few topics, right? You and I can talk about, like, if I didn't have a timer running and I wasn't and I didn't have a cutoff point, we'd still be talking about this. And then all of a sudden, I would go, Moody, I'm going to go because it's Star Trek Picard o'clock, which is at midnight, and it's 8:30 right now. And we could still go if I didn't go, like, I'm watching Star Trek. And it's awesome. I love it. I love the fact that, like, The Last of Us is one of those things me and Moody could just talk about forever. But it's time for Indie Game of the Week. This is the thing we do every week, where Amy plays an indie game demo, and my watch is dying, and it's going to vibrate every 2 seconds. Nice shots, Moody. This is the thing we do every week, where Indie plays an Amy game demo. Where Amy plays an indie game demo. Except this week, I was too busy playing Octopath Traveler 2, and I forgot to play the demo. So, don't tell Moody. But I didn't actually play the demo. Instead, I watched someone play the demo. This is El Paso Elsewhere, which is a third-person action game, kind of like Max Payne. I was trying to time that to get you back in as you put the headphones on. This game is kind of like Max Payne. Like, you know how, like, we had this whole movement of, like, the indie game scene brought back the NES and SNES era with, like, the platformers and stuff, and then they brought back all of the PS1 era stuff. Now the indie game scene is bringing back all the PS2 era stuff.
Oh my goodness.
So we got El Paso Elsewhere, which I was just explaining that I didn't play a demo this week because I might have forgot. I might have been playing Octopath 2, but I watched someone play this from GDC. And yeah, it's this fucking ridiculous game where you play this guy who's a vampire hunter, and his ex is, like, the queen of the vampires, and she's going to destroy the world. And, like, you have to go through this hotel, which is just suddenly, like, magically, like, gained 36 floors, and they all go down, and you have to fight your way through all the floors of the hotel to get to your ex and kill her. He calls it Neon Noir, the developer, which is noir, but, like, with a greater use of color. So it's like the same sort of mood and atmosphere and storytelling of noir, but using, like, lots of, like, splashes of like color in the scenes instead of being black and white monochrome. And again, the gameplay is just Max Payne. If you've ever played Max Payne, you'll picture this: vampires and werewolves and shit, and you can do the slow motion dive in bullet time with your guns and shit. It looks really cool. Like, it did look very cool when I saw it. GDC was cool. this year. Saw a lot of cool looking indie games.
There might have been an indie game that I've been working on there.
It might have been. Several. Who knows? I certainly don't.
No, only one.
Just one. Oh, okay. Well, now I know. Now I know.
Bramble, the Mountain King. Was
Bramble, the fucking Mountain King. Like, yes. Can't wait.
4 weeks away, people. Yeah. 4 weeks away.
4 weeks away. The thing is, though, Mooney, I've got a problem. I'm gonna make
it comes out a day before Star Wars.
Future Amy put a timestamp here. Amy's got a problem. Just come out the day before Star Wars. We've discussed this. Bramble will probably be playable the day before Star Wars, but they just announced that Mail Time is coming out on the same day as Bramble, which is it's my problem. I have a problem
whatsoever. It's not your problem. You know what you have to do, Amy.
Yeah, but like it's mail time. You play a little mushroom friend and you deliver mail, and it's if you could use your what I'm saying is if you could use your powers of game dev, email the developer of Mail Time and just ask them to delay it a couple of weeks.
To get the fuck out of the way.
Please, for no one's benefit but mine. So I don't have to make a horrible choice. Whichever one. I play Bramble, but like, I want to play Mail Time. It's not fair.
Looking game. I've never.
See? See?
No, I'm fine. Don't worry about me.
You've played fucking Bramble the Mountain King many times. You don't need to worry about release day. Anyway.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're back for part 2 as I've now sat down. My back was hurting.
Your back was hurting from carrying this podcast. Whoa.
Whoa. Don't insult yourself too much, Jimmy, man.
Why? It's one of the things I'm best at in life.
What, punching yourself in the face?
Yeah. Sometimes I have literally punched myself in the face once.
Okay.
That happened.
Time to get on to season 2 of The Last of Us. Onwards and speculative discussion. As obviously we know that The Last of Us has been renewed for season 2, and also season 3. It does seem like.
Yeah. So one of the questions I was going to ask you was, do you think they'll do part 2 over multiple seasons? But obviously, they've said they're going to do part 2 over multiple seasons, which they have to.
Yes, they pretty much have to, and basically they have an excellent way to finish season 2.
We'll see. We'll ask that question.
Well, no, I think it'll be the perfect way. I think it'll be controversial for a lot of people.
But first, if you have not played part 2 and you enjoyed The Last of Us season 1, leave, because we're about to spoil the next 2 seasons of The Last of Us, and you don't want us to spoil that. And we know this because the plot points were leaked before the game came out, so we know for a fact, because we were spoiled. We know for a fact what those spoilers can do. So leave now. I'm just giving you that. I'm giving people that grace of just like, they're talking about The Last of Us. Cool. I like the TV show. It's like, you want to go now. Close the podcast app. Close the YouTube video. And that's it. That's your final warning. Spoilers are about to happen. Literally, the big spoiler is about to happen.
The big spoiler that's going to happen. Joel dies at the beginning of Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
And doesn't die in a good way.
And it's not a nice death.
It's not a nice way. He's killed by the daughter of the doctor or surgeon he kills at the end of Part 2.
I've always thought golf sucks. In my entire life, I've always hated golf.
I've always thought golf sucked. Golf is a terrible, terrible game. It's boring as well.
Yeah.
It's a very boring game. But no. So yes, Abby, the daughter of this surgeon. Can't remember his name.
This guy,
that's how important he was.
Doctor guy. He was in like one scene of Part 2.
Yeah, his death is more important than his actual name.
Yeah.
But no, Abby, yes. Abby, who's comes along with her group to get revenge on Joel by murdering him, by getting her revenge and everything. And she succeeds. Succeeds. Very much succeeds in this. That puts Ellie on a vengeance of a rampage of vengeance to not only get revenge on Abby, but her entire crew. She does this.
She succeeds.
She does this. She succeeds. But she doesn't get Abby. Other things happen and everything. I don't want to go into full spoilers.
Yeah, no, this isn't a breakdown of part 2. Like, we've done that and it exists.
So
because my first question... Yeah, sorry, go on. No, you go on.
I was going to say, when Neil Druckmann was talking about Last of Us Part 2, he literally said the theme is revenge.
Mm-hmm.
He says it was revenge. The theme was revenge to him for this game. There's other themes in it, I think, that he just doesn't really talk about or didn't talk about until you played the game.
Well,
and everything. But
a story with one
theme
theme is bad,
revenge.
usually. There's a main theme, but there's other stuff that happens. There are other themes.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. When this game came out, this game was very controversial.
Before this game came out, it was very controversial.
Yeah, that was before this game came out. Yeah, sadly. Because it got a massive leak about, what was it, 2 months before the game was
it was, something like that.
And sadly, a lot of people were spoiled for the game and everything like that. And,
we both had it spoiled for us.
Yeah. For it. I won't lie, the spoiler of Joel dying, I didn't think it was a spoiler because I always thought he was going to die in this game. I'm not going to lie, I did think this. But either way, this game was very controversial. I'm very intrigued to see how they're going to handle it for season 2 and 3.
Well, this is my question. It's like, number one, it's just a sense of like foreboding of like they're really going to kill Pedro Pascal off, and like one of the things I saw, because I didn't watch the show week to week, but I saw like people talking about the show week to week, and it's like one of the things people really love about this show, Moody, is Pedro Pascal.
It's like the same with what happened in the original game. Everybody loved Joel and Troy Baker,
and like
Joel.
That's not going to end well for anyone who doesn't know like the crack, and that was pun not intended, and like my first question is like, they're gonna kill him, and it's gonna be like, what the fuck, like the internet's gonna fucking melt down. But like, how quickly are they gonna do this? So like in the game part 2, it's within like an hour or 2, isn't it? Like
within about 2 hours.
It's pretty much the first major plot beat of the game. Tommy gets shot.
It sends you on the path.
Yeah, like Abby's there, and no one really knows who Abby is, and he plays her for a bit, and then Ellie shows up, and they've got Joel, and they've already shot him in the leg, and and he gets beaten to death in front of her. And there's other stuff going on around that, like with Joel and Ellie's relationship that gets expanded on as the game goes on, and flashbacks that I'm just going to say emotionally crippled me. But we won't get into that. We won't get into that too much here because we're not, like I said, we're not doing a plot analysis of the second game. But like, how quickly do you think they're going to do this?
I think it'll be dead within the first 2 episodes.
Because I feel like you do it at the beginning, right? Like, it's
not the first episode. For me, because this is the thing about it.
Because I guess this leads into my...
TV audiences, I know where you're saying... Sorry for butting in there.
No, that's all right.
TV audiences are a little bit more different to when it comes to the video games, to what I noticed. Yeah, and like, this is HBO. If you don't know what you're going to get with HBO, watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Watch The House of Dragon.
This is going to be...
show that HBO do. And if you like any character... Don't trust that fucker's going to survive at the end.
This is going to be Game of Thrones Season 1, Episode 9 all over again.
It's going to be, yeah, basically, probably, yeah.
So, like, sorry.
No, go on.
I guess it ties into my other question, which is, like, how are they going to structure the story of Part 2 for TV? Because you can't do it in the same way as a TV show as you did in the video game. It's not possible. Like, you can
this
still...
is the ultimate question, I think.
Yeah.
I think the only way they do this is them doing the first... Say they make this season a proper 10-season episode. Like, the first season was meant to be 10 episodes, but the first 2 episodes they put together into one.
Okay.
For the first season. That's why it was only 9 episodes.
So I'm guessing the first episode was, like, 20 years ago. And then,
basically, when Sarah dies, that was meant to be the end of the first episode. Then you bounce off.
Would have been an interesting ending.
Would have been. But I'm not going to add they did the smart choice.
They did, because I feel like the second episode would really dragged.
Yeah, I think it would have, yeah. So, the only way they get around this is, and to keep Pedro Pascal in it a little bit longer, is you have him in the first, say, 5 episodes, and you do that all flashback.
Because there's
leading up to, say, the 5th episode, or maybe, say, the 4th episode, depending where he dies.
Because there's some stuff that only works as like it only works as well as it does because it's a flashback, right? Like the museum scene, which is as I alluded to earlier when I was talking about the giraffe scene in part 1, like is my favorite part of both games. Like that only works as part of like a flashback. And like the ending where it's like you find out a conversation that happened just before the first part of the game. Like I feel like that only works near the end of the game. Like that's where it gut punches. Yeah. So like Pedro Pascal is going to be in it still for like the next 2 seasons.
He'll probably be in like most of season 2.
I feel like he'll be in most of it.
Depending how they want to do this.
Yeah.
Because you probably could throw in like probably say 2 flashbacks into the flashback, obviously the museum, and probably how she finds out that she could have been the savior of the world.
And there was another flashback as well where it was like it was showing their relationship starting to like crack as well.
No, I think
no, it was they went through the hotel.
Yes. They could have done. They could put those.
They could put those
in it
over multiple episodes potentially as well.
Yeah, because if I remember rightly, then it's a flashback where she kisses the
Dina, which
Dana for the first time, and she gets pushed around by that bigot, basically.
Yeah,
the old man bigot,
and Joel
steps in
him.
Gets involved, and then obviously is the final scene with them together, which is before he dies,
which is definitely going to be at the end of this arc, because that's where it makes the most sense. That's where it hurts the most. But like, I think you might do I like. How do you think it's going to start? Like, like I guess like it's such a fascinating question. It's like, do you play it for time with like Joel? Like, do you have like that flashback in the barn dance? Do you do that first? Do you have that at the beginning?
I think you could start that, but not finish it. Like they did in the. That's how they did. How they revealed it. Because they did the kiss, and then you look at him, and and she goes, "You're gonna like what? Just I can't remember what Dina
I need to replay it
to Ellie and everything like that." But
they should be
they
afraid
could do
of
that,
you,
and then just go straight to the main story. Maybe you go to Ellie, or you go to Abby and everything like that. Oh fuck, we forgot about the first flashback where he plays the song to her. Where he's basically telling her, "I will always be here to protect you. I love you," type of thing. Yada yada yada.
Future Days by Pearl Jam, which doesn't exist in 2003. That's the thing. That's another thing as well. It's like that song doesn't exist, and I'm fine with them just using it anyway. I don't think you can use a different song in its place.
You could literally just use the song and just say it's a song he's created.
Yeah, Joel created this song. I don't think the Pearl Jam guys will mind.
Yeah, I don't think they'll give a flag.
But it's
how
just
much
like,
you want to give us for that song?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Please don't change the song, Mr. Druckmann and Mr. Mason. Like you can't.
Yeah.
I still
think they will.
cry at that fucking song. Because of what you did to me in 2020. But like, yeah, so I mean the structure of the game is you got the beginning, Pedro dies, and then Joel dies. and then Ellie, decides she's gonna fucking kill everyone in Seattle.
A 3-day rampage.
It's a fucking rampage, all right. Like it's impressive. Like she's gonna kill a lot of fucking people in in the next 2 seasons. But you do that, and then you do the 3 days, and then you stop in the theater.
Yeah.
You stop in the theater, and Abby's there, and like she's like fucking pissed because you've literally killed all of her friends, and then it goes back, and we go the same 3 days, but it's Abby. Now you can't do 2 seasons of television in that way, right? Like they're not going to make season 2 where it's all the Ellie stuff and season 3 where it's all the Abby stuff.
I think you could.
I know you could. I don't think they will.
I think they will.
I don't think they will.
I think they'll change certain plots about about her characters, Abby's characters' friends. I think they'll change a couple of plots of that, like just to flush them out a little bit more. I do not think they're going to change as much to this plot as that people think. I
don't think they're going to change the plot. Like, I think it's going to very much be like the Bill stuff in season 1. I think it's going to be like I think they're going to change the structure. I think you gotta, and like I haven't played the game for like 2.5 years, so like I'm not like 100% on like everything that happens in the game. But I think they'll change the structure somewhat, because I don't think they want to do a season of TV without Pedro and Bella, basically. Like, I think they could. I think from a storytelling perspective, I think they could. I think from a perspective of people love these two actors, okay, but they're not going to be in season 3. I don't think they're going to do that until the end, I guess.
I think they're going to be. I think the audience is going to be a lot more mainstream. Audience is going to be a lot more forgiving.
I think the mainstream audience would be a lot more forgiving. I guess I've got my TV executive hat on, not necessarily my storytelling hat on. Because The Last of Us Part 2 is structured perfectly, like in terms of the way the story works, the way you go all the way through with Ellie, and then boom, you flash back, and you do not want to be Abby right now. Like, yeah. It's and like it works so well. Like the way you have to play as it for 3 days, and you get all this context, and then you're like, oh fuck, what do I do? And then they're fighting, and you're just like, no, stop. And
I
then
was physically shaking, so I do not want to do this.
No, stop. Yeah. Yeah. So like, yeah, that's the, like, that works really well. Like, I just like I think from a TV executive perspective, I'm just like, I don't think they're gonna do it that way.
I think it works more because I think this, like they've already said, that we're not going to get probably season 2 until 2020, late 2024.
I think you'll get late 2024.
Beginning of 2025. I'm probably saying 2025 here.
I think they'll shoot 2 and 3 back to back.
Back to back.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. So I think you'll only be waiting a minimum of probably a year for season 3. Like they get to do season 2 at the beginning of 2025 and put season 3 at the beginning of 2026. Then you ain't waiting as much compared to what you normally would have been, because like you have for season 2, between the gap between season 1 and season 2.
Yeah, like how they've done Picard, they did 2 and 3 back to back, so that you only had to wait a year between 2 and 3. Like, because that's how TV works now. It's not like at the old days where it's like you will reliably get something a year later. Now it's like they take the time that they need to make the thing, and that's longer. And surprise, shocker, that's longer than a year. You knew. Yeah. But yeah, no. So like, let's bounce off of the structured question, because we'll talk ourselves in circles. What are you looking forward to the most that they're going to adapt from part 2 into the TV show?
I want to see how they're going to adapt Ellie's and Abby's story. I'm excited to see that. I want to see, am I going to go through the same emotions that I went through from the beginning? Because by the time when you meet up with Abby at the theater, I'm like, oh, Ellie, we shouldn't have been doing this. Go home, leave now. Yes, fabulous. And then when you switch to Abby, I'm like, no, why am I playing this girl? What have you done? What the hell? And I kept on going because at the overall end of the day, I trusted Neil Druckmann and Naughty Dog to what they were doing. And by the end of Abby's story, I was thinking, I don't want to get in there, Abby. I don't want these two to be fighting.
You go from, I want to fucking kill this woman. Yeah. Like, you're in the same place, right? I want to fucking kill this woman. And then by the time you get there, you're like, I do not want to kill this woman anymore. And then the game goes, right, cool. Now fight to the death. And you're like, no, no, what? No, please. Yeah. But that's a great trick.
But they even twist it even more, because in the game, you play as Abby to fight Ellie first.
Yeah.
Which is just...
It's the nightmare. It's the nightmare scenario. Yeah, but you kind of like you really do empathize with Abby a lot. It's really like it's magical.
Yeah.
I don't know. To answer your question there about like, are they going to capture it the way that they did for the game? I don't know, because, and I've seen like a million videos, like a dozen videos about part 2 and what it does. It's like one of the things that the reasons it works and it digs in so much is because you're always in control. Like you're the person with the controller in your hand. You know, when you go off to go on a 3-day rampage through Seattle as Ellie, like you want to do this. Like you get to do this and you're like, yeah, let's fucking kill all these people because they killed Joe. And then when you're controlling Abby and stuff, and it's like you don't get that control when you're watching a TV show. So I think like they can pull it off, obviously. Like TV as a storytelling medium has been around for long enough that they know how they can make people emotionally connect with it. I just don't know if they're going to get that depth purely because it's not a video game.
I think a lot of people were questioning that when season 1 was coming out, and I think they've proved them they can.
So I still think you'll get depth. I just don't think for me, I'm just answering for me personally. Like, I don't think they're going to be able to get under my skin as much.
I think because we already know things.
And then we already know. Yeah, we already know
what's going to happen. Then yes, I understand where you're coming from for that. But we're not for me, that we're not the target audience for this. They're not targeting us. They know, they're like, you're either going to watch it or you're not.
This is just a fun thing for us. This is like a fun new way to experience something that we experienced already.
For me, they'll structure it for me how part 2 was. And I think they'll just structure it in a way where it fits TV. Like because they showed they were able to do that in season 1, and I trust in like both Neil Druckmann and Craig Mason.
Oh, benefit of the doubt is there from watching season 1 for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be the perfect time because I'll stand by right now. I think we're going to find out Last of Us Part 3 is going to get announced this year. I think. I just have that feeling. I'm not saying I know anything or anything. I just have a feeling. That's
insider information. You heard it here first.
Hell yeah.
Daffy Moody's coming for Jeff Grubb.
Jeff Grubb's job. Hell yeah. My uncle's best friends.
Yeah. No, I mean I agree. I said when we did the big review a couple of years ago for part 2, I was like, "There's going to be a part 3." Like if they ended it there and that was it, like I would have been satisfied with what we got. But like no, no, there's going to be a part 3. I think the thing I'm most like, and it's weird that like because you're like the thing you're most looking forward to is like the whole thing, I guess. Like the story of this, whereas like me, like the thing I'm most looking forward to is like getting my heart torn out when they do the museum flashback. To say that like I loved The Last of Us Part 2 story, like fucking that is up there for me. To say that like the museum scene just is so much higher than everything else in that game, and I fucking loved everything else in that game, but that museum scene was like probably one of my favorite moments in video games.
More than a giraffe? Oh my god!
Yeah, it beats the giraffe. It was just like, and like the giraffe scene was cool and it was awesome and it was a nice moment and a nice break in the game and it was cool to like pet the giraffe and like Ellie being like fucking awesome, The museum scene I never wanted to end. Like, you wander around and you look at all the cool dinosaurs and you put the hat on Joel. And like, I was just like, I don't want to, like, and you've got a target destination, right? Where it's like, go here. And then this is where the flashback's you're going to do a scene and that's where the flashback's going to end. And it was just like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go in this thing and do this thing. Like, because I just want to be here. Can I just stay here?
Stay here forever.
Yeah, but then you get in the thing, you get in the capsule, and that moment is just so incredibly beautiful that I'm getting emotional just thinking about it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like it's just the flashbacks were, I think, the thing that hurt the most throughout the game because
they knew how to time those flashbacks.
Yeah, the people they knew what they did and they did an incredible job for it. I thought
when you're already like emotionally ruined, and then they've got like, but we've got one more flashback, and it turns out like Ellie and Joel were like on the porch and he's drinking the coffee and like they're gonna watch a movie and it's just like. I didn't think there was anything left that they could break in me, and they found something, and then they broke it, and I was like, oh fuck. And like I remember doing our review, and like you'd finished the game ages before the day we did the review,
3 days,
and I had finished it like a couple hours before we sat down to review it, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna pull myself together to be able to do this review. Like, oh no.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
I'll just send you another video.
Awesome, but yeah, like that. Like for me, it's that kind of thing that I'm really looking forward to. Those sort of moments, and like there's gonna be some brutal moments and some awful moments. Like, oh, they're in an aquarium. They're in the aquarium. Yay! Hi, doggy. Nice doggy. But But like, yeah, like it's the moments of like beauty that exist in that game that really like sing for me the most.
Well, that's what I think. That's what shows how great it is that in a game that is about hate and vengeance, they found beauty still
Yeah, they did. Like
in individual parts, which
in pieces of it, and unless again would have just focused on the darker parts, right? Like lesser games have, like we've probably played dozens of games that have just stuck to that, right? But you get these pinpricks of brightness come through, and it's all tinged in this bittersweet like feeling of like it's a flashback. Joel is already dead, and there's nothing we can do about it. So yeah, that's probably the thing I'm looking forward to the most. Do you think? So we talked about episode 3 in the first half of the podcast, the Bill episode, which was such a vast improvement over what was in part 1 of the game. Do you think there's anything that they could improve, like in your mind, in season 2 or 3, over what was in the game?
I think they could improve upon Abby's team's characters, at least the main ones that happen in the final day of Ellie's saga.
The dude and the pregnant lady.
Yeah. I think they could improve.
The fact that I can't remember their names is probably.
Yeah, the thing is about it, like the guy, the male character, he was a good character. I enjoyed him, but it was just like he was also like you could see that because of what they did, it broke him as well. And that, I think they did that very well, but I just don't think they did it. You couldn't sympathize with him because it's just like, well, you've got a pregnant woman who you say you are in love with, but you're going to go off and shag Abby in your boat while she's in the other building. So you couldn't sympathize with him, and that's what I didn't like about it. Like when he died, I was like, when the whole thing happened, like I was thinking, oh no, I was thinking more, oh no, Ellie, what have you done? Not that these people didn't deserve to die, and it was because they did a deplorable thing. It's just like, Ellie, you didn't need to do this because you have gone down what Abby's gone down
now,
and everything type of thing.
That's a philosophical kind of worms.
And everything.
Deserving to die is a very big philosophical can of worms that the game opens itself. Does anyone deserve to die?
I would hope to see more of David, Joel's brother. David?
Tommy,
Tommy's Joel's brother. Because you see him, and then you don't see him technically until the end of Ellie's saga. Then the theater scene, and then you see him in Abby's scene.
Sort of.
In like day 2 or 3, I think. Sort of.
You don't really see him. You see his bullets.
You don't see him. He's there. And you do see him like once and everything, but it's like, oh, I wanted to see. I saw because obviously they've got such a great actor for him to get in.
Gabriel Luna.
Who played the night. What's his name? What's the Marvel superhero's name of the skull? Fire Skull.
Ghost Rider
in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which he did a better job than Nicolas Cage. I'll say it that right
Shocker.
now. I thought, and he was also a badass Terminator in Dark Fate as well. I think I would love to see to see him more in flushed out in the season and everything, because like you hear in the game. He's gone off. He's basically gone full on Terminator. He's charging at these motherfuckers, killing them all, and everything. And that's what he's doing. He's hunting Abby down, and he almost gets her. He does actually almost get her. He's very unlucky to not almost get her, but like he's charging after her, and you don't see any of that. I would love to see maybe an episode of him going full on.
Rambo,
Gib, Terminator, Commando,
no, that would have been mine as well. I think, like, I want to see more of I definitely want to see like some of Abby's gang of WLF buddies, like expanded upon a bit more.
Just a couple. They don't need all of them.
That's some. I mean, expand as much as you want. Like, fine, I don't care.
True.
But also like other supporting characters, even like Jesse and Dina.
Jesse. Dina, definitely. I think Dina. I love Dina, but there was also parts that was just like, Oh, you're a little annoying me now.
Well, because right, and this goes to like why the game is such a fascinating thing to deconstruct, because it's like you are on a fucking mission, and she's like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this, but you're still in the mindset of no, I'm gonna fucking do this, like with a shiv in your hand.
And then not out of her control whatsoever. Spoilers to a little bit of Dina's storyline. We find out that
full
she is
part 2
pregnant.
spoilers.
Part 2 spoilers for it. That she's pregnant, and at this, like, I won't lie, I'll hold my hand up to it. I was just like, you're just trying to be an inconvenience here. We're on a mission here. We've got things to do, bodies to count, type of thing, and you are just getting in the way somehow. And I admit that. I hold that up and everything like that. But I love Dina. I love Dina. She was an amazing character. The scenes where she was healing Ellie after each day were incredible scenes.
Plot twist. They were, yeah.
Yes, she was healing Abby all along.
It was Abby's baby.
Just get the lube. What's pegging?
Oh God! Not how you get someone pregnant. I'll tell you that much. Jesus.
But Jesse, like, Jesse had a great story, but it was so anticlimactic. I hope they maybe do a little bit more for him.
I want to see more of him, for sure, in the TV show than we got in the game. And you get because again, what people are going to remember is people talk about like, oh, it's a 30-hour game, and it's like, but as I talked about when we talked about season 1, it's like you can remove all of the video game bullshit. That's going to save you a lot of time.
They're going to keep
I hope they keep the Rat King. Like,
that's it, the Rat King.
As an encounter, and there's going to be a lot more violence in season 2 and 3, purely just because 1, that's what the story's about, and 2, obviously, on top of all of that stuff, you've got all the stuff between the WLF and the religious nut jobs. I can't remember their name.
Religious nut jobs.
The religious nut jobs. And I guess
fall in love with what.
I was going to say, and to add to things that I'm really looking forward to seeing. I'm looking forward to seeing Lev.
Yeah, and his sister.
Yeah, and that whole situation.
Yeah, that whole situation. Like, it's going to be very interesting how I see where you're coming from of how will they structure it and everything like that for it, but it's going to be fascinating. It really is. The good thing is, it's like, hopefully, because they're going to be doing they will hopefully going to film it back to back, do season 2 and 3 back to back and everything. Hopefully, so we'll see and everything like that.
I did see one funny take that's been cropping up online, because obviously there's a 5-year jump between part 1 and part 2, and they'll keep that 5-year jump between season 1 and season 2. And like, people were saying like, oh well, you're gonna need to recast Ellie then, because she's not going to be 5 years older than by the time season 2 starts filming. It's like, Bella Ramsey's 19 years old, right? She's literally the right age right now.
Yeah. All she has to do is just put a little bit muscle on a little bit. Because she is a little bit more muscly, Ellie, in season 2. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Compared to Abby.
I mean, if Abby in the Last of Us TV show isn't completely jacked, I'm not watching it.
Yeah.
But to be fair, they shared a poster to tease season 2, and it's like Abby's arm, and it's like proper fucking like. So it's like okay, you get it. All right, you get it. This is one of the most important things.
They get it.
Abby's most important character traits is the fact that she could probably bench press a fucking truck.
The thing is about it, I will trust in Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin that they will not give a fuck about the idiots who were just complete bigots about this game and everything when it came out, the story and everything, and they were just complete assholes. If you didn't like the game, you didn't like the game. That's absolutely fine and whatnot. But some people just took it too far, where the developers and the team and everything got death threats, and fucking hell, and some of the actors,
Laura Bailey,
threats in Laura Bailey,
who played Abby. The reason it was a cool cameo in you know, season 1 was because she was Abby in Last of Us Part 2. She won awards. So, fuck you, haters. And again, you can not enjoy her performance or whatever, but like, you know, when you start sending death threats to people, it's like, no.
You cross the line and you just lose your argument.
It's like, I mean, we watched some of the videos people were putting out about it, like
absolute bigots,
complete fucking jokes of people. But yeah, that's all the time we have for the part of The Last of Us, more or less. If there's anything you want to pick up on, because I was going to say like, hey, who do you think could play Abby? But like,
any good actress.
Who do you want to play Abby? Do you have anyone in mind who you would be like, no, they'd be good?
Who?
I was saying, do you have anyone in mind who you'd be like, they'd be good?
Anybody for me? I'm absolutely okay with whoever they want to go with. I trust in who they have potential. I'm thinking they probably already have in mind who they might want to play her.
Probably.
So Dina, I think Dina's already been cast because she is in season 1.
Maybe that could have, like, you don't see her face or anything, like, so that could have just been an extra they got. It's like an Easter egg. Like an Easter egg that gives them the idea to cast someone else.
I believe in the podcast they did confirm that's Dina, I think.
Because Dina, the person who plays Dina in part 2 of the game, is like an actress was in Westworld.
They could get her,
so they could just get her back. Because like, if they got Lev, I would hope they would just cast Ian Alexander again. Like, he is an actor. He's been in Star Trek.
Bring him back.
Discovery.
Yeah. And that show's retiring next year, so
he's got the time, and he's a fucking great actor. For Abby, there's a rumor going around that Shannon Berry is already been cast, and I don't know who that is. Apparently she was in The Wilds, which is on Amazon Prime. Never heard of it. Shannon Berry. But I'm not seeing her in anything. Because my thought, and I've seen some crazy ideas. So I saw someone say Sophie Turner. And I was like, no. Like, I love Sansa Stark, but no. Not for this.
That would be interesting. Like, you haven't seen anything of her since, obviously, Game of Thrones.
I've seen Game of Thrones.
X-Men Dark Phoenix and whatnot.
I haven't seen the X-Men.
That would be interesting.
My thought was, like, my like, where my brain went, when I sat down to actually think about it, because I wrote the question down. And then obviously I was like, I'd better have an actual answer, or at least a glimmer of a thought. Was Peyton List? He's in Cobra Kai. She's the girl that turns up and hates Danny LaRusso's daughter. I don't know if you've watched Cobra Kai.
Nope.
All right, she's like one of the antagonist characters. She's really good in Cobra Kai. She's been in a few things because I think I remember her name. She did a lot of stuff on the Disney Channel. Obviously now she kicks the shit out of people on Cobra Kai. And I'll tell you what, those fight scenes are good. When I had Netflix, I liked watching it. Haven't seen it for a couple of years though, because I don't have Netflix anymore. What else has she been in? Anything? Nothing really worth. She was the voice of Barbara Gordon in a Batman animated film. But that was my thought. I think she'd be good for that. But anyway,
trust in whoever they get.
Oh, I mean, like, whoever they get, it'll be awesome. It's fun to speculate though. Just look at, I've got a list open right now, and it's like, okay. Thomasin McKenzie. I remember her. She was in Jojo Rabbit. There was someone who pointed out, like, there was one list I saw, and I can't remember the name of an actress, but there was an actress on the list who was like 38 years old, And I was like, look, man, I don't. Ageism is a thing, and it's a thing we need to combat. But you can't have a fucking nearly 40-year-old played Abby in The Last of Us part. In The Last of Us, that's a little bit too old for the part.
Yeah, they're close to actually the same age, really. She's only like 2 years older, I think, than Ellie.
Yeah.
So she's like 2021, say, give or take, when we first meet. So.
Right.
I might be wrong. Neil Druckmann might correct me on that. They also might change.
Yeah, Neil, call us. Yeah, just DM. Slide into my DMs. Moody's not on Twitter. I'll pass the message on to him. We're going to have to move on. So that was our Last of Us season 2 and 3 talk. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, like, it's going to be a while. But I'm going to try and make a video before the next season comes out.
Well, you got a few years, so
not that long. It's like, what, 2 years? It takes a long time to make these things. I don't know if you've noticed, but a Mass Effect video hasn't appeared on the channel in the last several months.
Yeah, you've decided to build that to end 7 day, and I know you have.
Not on purpose.
You know what?
At the moment, I'm still like, yeah, I'll make it. It's fine. I've been writing it again.
I know, that's good. That's good to hear.
I took a break to write a short video that completely spiraled out of control. Yeah.
Of course it did. Of course it did.
It's not my fault this
Games out next week. You hear me?
Oh, yeah, there's cool games out next week. 3 games here. So the first game, we've got Terranil, which is coming to PC on March 28th. That's on Tuesday next week. We've got Small Land, Survive the Wilds, which is launching in early access on PC on March 29th. That's on Wednesday. And then lastly, Dredge, which also looks really cool on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, Switch, and PC on March 30th. And that's on the Thursday next week. 3 cool looking games.
3 cool looking games.
Horror fishing game. Like that's you got some words, you put them in a sentence and you make Amy go, "Excuse me? What?" Right, all I'm saying is after like a month of Octopath Traveler 2, Resident Evil 4 over the weekend, I need what Moody would describe an Amy ass Amy game. I need something fucking weird. Like really fucking weird to play, thanks.
Really weird.
Yeah.
But also, as you probably would have noticed, I added a 3rd game there, which was Small Lands, Survive
You're always
the
welcome
Wilds.
to do.
Yeah, early access. I've been working on this game.
I was going to say, you know, you can add games that aren't your studio, or you can just add whatever you want.
Yeah, I know.
But I haven't heard of this game. Please tell me about it.
Small Lands Survive the Wild, like the description says. Experience a big adventure on a tiny scale. Enjoy multiplayer survival in a vast, hazardous world.
Preparation is key when you're this small.
Yeah, go on.
And at the bottom of the food chain, craft weapons and armor, tame and ride creatures, build encampments, and explore a strange new world. I mean, land. This is in Star Trek.
Yeah. This is basically our big online game that we are releasing in early access this year, or next week, should I say. We are very excited for this release.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How good is it? Damn.
It's awesome, man.
Damn.
Awesome.
You gonna give me a code? We can play it together. We could stream it.
We could, yes, indeed.
Yeah, we could, but you'll have to buy it.
Why?
No, I mean, I'll have to buy it. But, so yeah, Small Land, Survive the Wilds. Cool. I love multiplayer games. I don't play as many multiplayer games as I want to these days. Like,
yeah, I want to talk to you before we hop off, after we've finished the podcast.
Oh, crap. What have I done? Did I get you in trouble?
No. That's right. No trouble at all.
Oh, man. Because, you know, I only jokingly try to get you in trouble. I'm not actually trying to get you in trouble. But yeah, no, awesome. I'll keep an eye out for that coming in early access next week. Like I said, I didn't even know there's that many games that it's like it's hard to even know what your friends are making. That's how many fucking games are coming out these days.
But I'll say this. could mean nothing or anything like
Fuck.
that. For us, it means a lot. It's number 3 in the most anticipated coming games in this month. And that's between now and April. And obviously between now and April, we also have 2 other big games coming, which is obviously Resident Evil and Star Wars. We are below them. Just number 3, which is pretty
That's
incredible.
what you want.
Yeah. That's
Fuck
pretty
yeah.
darn good company, especially with what the reviews are going for Resident Evil 4 right now.
I mean, wowzers, and that's a good segue.
I didn't expect that, Scott.
That's a good segue.
It could, like we said last week, it could have gone. It was either going to be Nemesis or 2.
Yeah, it's 3 or 2, right? Yeah, it's time for OpenCritic Head-To-Head game we play every single week, guessing OpenCritic averages. Anyway, last week we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of 2 games, and as Mooney alluded to, one of those games was Resident Evil 4 Remake. I guessed it would get an 88, because 88 now fails, and Moody guessed it would get an 87, and at the time of recording, it has a 92. Give me all those Fantasy Critic points. Thank you. Thank you very much. I had
well
faith.
done to the team and everything. That is amazing. I got my copies on the way. I got the email today from Boomerang. It's on the way. Hopefully, it will arrive tomorrow.
As long as it gets here by Saturday, because that's when I'm going to start streaming it.
Yeah. So.
But it got the email. I got the email at 8:30 this morning, so that gives me hope that it might get here tomorrow. But it's on its way either way. Have you seen the little animated shorts that they've been doing on the Capcom channel on YouTube?
The one that you sent me.
There's like 3 of them. I just noticed, like I saw that there was 3 of them just before we started recording, because I thought there was only the one. They're really good. I don't know. They're just really fun.
Nice.
They're really cool. You should watch them if you get the chance.
The first one.
It's a very interesting 5. Yeah, that's what it's for. It's just to make you laugh. So that gives me the point. Last week we also tried to guess the OpenCritic average of Chia. I guessed that we're getting 85. Moody guessed that we're getting 83 at the time of recording. Chia has an OpenCritic average of 77, which means Moody gets a point. I want to complain about Game Critics, but I haven't played Chia yet. I've installed it. I'm definitely going to play it. It's just obviously Octopath Traveler 2 is taking longer than expected.
Yeah, there's no doubt that. I don't know when I'm going to get to certain other games.
I'm going to have some...
Resi.
Yeah, when we do a review of Octopath Traveler 2, I'm going to have some things to say about these last bosses, let me tell you. Game goes in fucking hard in these last fucking few boss fights.
I think we'll probably be reviewing a couple of games next week.
More than likely.
Because I'm probably going to smash out Resi 4.
I mean, I'm going to try my best to get it done over the weekend, so... I don't know how long it is. I've seen a lot of people talking about Resi 4, because obviously the reviews dropped pretty much last Friday.
Yeah, I was very surprised how early they dropped.
But I've not seen anyone talk about the length of the game, because 4 was significantly longer than 1, 2, and 3 back in the old days. I'm assuming it's still the case here. But yeah, Cheers on there. It's on my PS5. One to play whenever I finish Octopath. Which hopefully should be in the next couple of days, because I'm close. I'm close. As Mooney said, you might have caught us talking about it earlier in the podcast. It was on the show notes because I was gonna do it, but I'm so close to the end. I was like, no, I'll just wait. I'll finish it, and then I'll talk about it next week along with Resi 4. Nice double header for you next week on the podcast.
So I'm looking at how long to beat. So the 2005 Resident Evil 4, that's 15 and a half hours for the main story. 20 hours for the extra.
What's extra?
Or for full completionist, that's 31 hours.
I get why there's a completionist run, because obviously you do need Game Plus and get all the other stuff. Yeah, you got Ada's fucking side quests as well. How's there a distinction between the main story and what's extra in that game?
Didn't they have the multiplayer?
No. No, there's no multiplayer in it. Wouldn't account that wouldn't accounted for.
Wasn't it the time thing? The time.
Mercenaries.
They had something in it, I think. Mercenaries. That's it. I think didn't they have something similar to Mercenaries?
I don't know. I know that was in 3.
Yeah,
I can't remember if it was in 4. But that's not part of the. Because there's how long to beat is how long the campaign is.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what What the hell is it? Because main plus extra is like side quests. I was like, Resident Evil 4 didn't have side quests, did it?
Well, yeah, this is 2005, so I'm thinking it's probably going to be 15 hours.
Yeah. Okay. That's a long couple of streams, but I can manage it.
Yeah, I did a 12-hour one.
I did a 12-hour one. Good for you. Think I can keep my attention on anything for 12 hours? I can barely keep my attention on stuff for 12 minutes. So the current scores are Amy 5, Moody 6, with 1 draw. That's it. Fantasy Critic update next week. More interesting. Because right now, like, the points for a lot of, like, some stuff hasn't added in yet. Because of how it works. So I have just realized I have picked a spot on my arm and it is bleeding.
Just going out fighting people. Don't know about what, but either way.
I can now say that I have been injured by this podcast. I can legitimately say that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a spot there. Didn't even know there was something there. But that's that's a decent amount of blood for her. Cool.
Cool.
So yeah, I guess that's gonna do it for the podcast.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Moonies, do you have any final thoughts?
While
I just try and cover my blood-stained arm for the on the camera.
As always, it's the weekend. It's here, ladies and gentlemen. So be awesome, be safe, have a great weekend, and as always, as very much always, fuck the Tories.
Remember when you used to do positive inspirational quotes at the end? Now every week it's "fuck you, Tories," and you're not wrong. Fuck the Tories.
Just cancel culture is a myth. I haven't said that for a while.
Oh yeah, like a whole week.
Peace
out, everybody. See you later.
Star Trek time.
Star Trek time.